thanks for checking out the channel and the video. Today's video is all about the slots I recommend you play with caution, and avoid if you're trying to stretch a bankroll, play longer, and earn comps with Carnival on Carnival Firenze. I did a review of Carnival Firenze overall and the casino, which I thought was really nice, spacious, a wide variety of games. Then I also did a video of every penny I spent on this comped cruise. Those can both be found on my channel. I will link them in the description. Now, before I start showing you the slots on Firenze, I want to go through a little bit of my methodology, just so you know how I came to these decisions. So it's a blend of my experience playing these machines. Some I've played longer than others. And then also kind of my experience while I'm playing. So, things like how often do I get line hits? What is the gameplay like? What kind of bonuses are there? And are they hard or easier to hit? Now, of course, there is going to be a little bit of recency bias in some of these. So even though I am using kind of empirical evidence to guide you in this, it's not 100% scientific. A game that I say you shouldn't play, you may have a lot of luck on. You may love playing that game, and I highly recommend you keep playing that slot if that's the case. Another thing I want to go through is this whole pot debate. Now, when I'm pots, I'm talking about like the bowls or the chests or the pigs, any indicator that kind of gets bigger or more vibrant as you go along, and then you hit the bonus and it gets small again. I understand that technically speaking, these are just graphical representations only. They do not at all suggest that you're going to hit the bonus right away. I do get that, but I do have some reasons why I still look for machines that have fuller pots or chests or pigs when I play. If you have two machines side by side, and one has a completely empty pot and one has a completely full pot, the one thing you can determine from that is that the one with the completely full pot has gone longer since a bonus has been triggered. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that the one with the big pot's going to trigger first and the one with the small pot's going to trigger second. Not at all. Pots can trigger when they're small. Pots can stay big for a long time. However, you're thinking about a long game here, right? You're not just thinking about that one discrete session with that slot machine. You're talking about a choice that you make all the time. And even though the percentage is minuscule or small, you still have a better chance of triggering a bonus when you're playing games all the time that have these big pots. Something else you have to keep in mind is these things are not all created equal. Some machines, the indicator, whether it be gems or a chest or a pig or a bowl, some of them fill up really, really fast and then they stay big for a long, long time. Some of these tend to fill up more gradually, and when they get bigger, they tend to trigger a bit faster. They're a little bit more reliable. So for ones that I consider to be more reliable, I'm thinking about something like 88 Fortunes or Dancing Drums. Those pots, when they get big, sure, you could still play a long time and not trigger it. But on the average, playing this game over and over again, you will probably find that you have more triggers on full pots than you might with some other games. For instance, Mo Money. Mo Money is one of those games where the gems tend to get big fairly quickly, and then the piles of gems just sit there for a long time. Another one is Devil's Lock or Shark Lock. The sharks or the pigs can get big and just sit there forever and ever. So these are not all created equal. Even so, I would still recommend playing the ones that have the big pot, the big chest, the big pig, because you're going to get that little win. And over time, like I said, I think it pays off. All right, so getting that all out of the way, let's get into the slots. Let's start with the slots I recommend you play on Carnival Firenze. Lion Link. Lion Link is one of my favorites. There's a lot of reasons to like this game. The first one is it's fairly common. You can find it in many, many cruise ship casinos. The second one is it does give you line hits as you play. So you're not going like 5 dead spins and then hit for half your bet, and then 6 dead spins, hit for 2 times your bet. Like, you're actually every second or third spin, generally speaking, you're getting something back, you're winning your bet back, you're winning a little bit more than your bet back. So you can play a lot longer and get to that point where you are going to trigger the bonus. The second thing I like about Lion Link is that it does tend to trigger fairly frequently. I play the machines that have a lot of the pearls sitting there. You can tell the ones that are like the most full, I guess, because they've got like 5 or so pearls. One of them's really big and the dragon's kind of holding on to it. Those are a safe bet that they're going to pop fairly frequently. I also had a huge line hit on Firenze. It was amazing in the bonus. Had a really, really good bonus. The one negative thing I'll say about Lion Link is that you can also have a lot of really mid bonuses. It's the hold and spin bonus. So, you could end up like winning like $7 or $8. So I wouldn't like just sit at this game forever. But, if you're getting line hits, if you're triggering the bonus, it's a good way to stretch your time played, which leads to more marketing offers, comped cruises, free play, all that good stuff. Dancing Drums Tower bonus. So I've never seen this one before. It was my first time playing. I really like this game. It's Dancing Drums, but totally modernized. Now, of course, because it's a new edition of Dancing Drums, it's going to have probably a bit lower line hits. It's going to be more volatile because that's generally speaking what happens when you have a base game and then new iterations of those games come out. Think about Huff and Puff. Think about Buffalo games. Usually speaking, those newer games will be more high volatility. But this game I had quite a bit of success on. I really like the gameplay. You can do, when you do the jackpot game, when you pop the pot, one of the new features they've added, besides being able to win the mini, the minor, the major, the grand, you can also get 3 pots in that if you select all 3, and that takes you into the free spins game. And as far as I'm concerned, the free spins game is where you're gonna make a lot of your money back on dancing drum games, because generally speaking, in the jackpot game, you're gonna hit the mini, although I have hit a couple of majors on dancing drums before. This game's a lot of fun. The bet level's a bit high for my taste. The minimum bet is $1, but it wasn't doing too bad paying me back. I really enjoy this game, and I do recommend you give it a shot as well. Magic Treasures. So Magic Treasures has the jackpot bonus where you get the words, the gems underneath the words to trigger that jackpot. It has the free games where you have spins with extra orbs, which you can get some pretty good line hits on. And then it's got the money balls feature. Every time one of those money ball symbols come up on the reels, you add that money balls to the money ball pot, and then at some random time it will trigger, drop the money balls, and then anything that's adjacent will pay out. So you can end up having some really good line hits on this game. I would say that the line hits are okay on this game. They're not great, but they're not terrible. You're not sitting there with dead spin after 10 dead spin, and you can have some pretty good just like random line hits in the base game. This is a fun game. I feel like it pays you back as you go. It's definitely a time builder, and I do recommend you should play it. Quick Hit Link. So I've covered this slot on some previous videos. For me, this is pretty much a go-to game. It doesn't have terrific line hits in the base game, but I do find that the dollar signs made of firecrackers fill up fairly quickly, and you can get some multiple triggers on it, which can lead to some pretty decent bonuses. I'm not going to say too much more about this game, but I would say if the dollar signs are full or getting full, I would definitely sit down and play this game. Chances are you're not going to lose too much, and you're probably going to trigger the bonus. All right, Bacon Riches, or as I like to call it, Adderall Birds. This game is fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of like Devil Lock or Shark Lock. It's not made by Blueberry, the same company, but it has the same gameplay. It's essentially the same game. I like it. I like the Luck Has Arrived features in it. I do find that the line hits are fairly decent and they keep you going. It can take quite a while for those birds to pop. So I wouldn't sit here playing it forever and ever, but if the birds are big, I would definitely play this game for a while. You'll be entertained and you probably won't lose too much money. Phoenix Bowl. All right, so I have to admit, like, it's going to be hard for me to explain how this game works. I didn't quite get it even when I was playing it. The orbs will populate the pot in the middle, and when the pot gets full and it pops, you have the wheel that you play, which can either multiply your line hit or you can win one of the jackpots. There's also a feature where if you hit 3 drums, you'll also trigger the bonus. There's also a special character with a dollar amount, and if that ends up on your pay lines, you'll end up being paid out that. So $2, $3, whatever that might be. It also has a jackpot multiplier, so you can win the mini, the minor, the major, or the grand. You could also win that ×2, or I believe ×3 as well. It's a fun game. I had fairly good success with it. It's an 80-cent bet. Yeah, I played it quite a bit and I didn't lose too much on it. So for that reason, I recommend, if you see it, give it a shot. All right, games that I recommend you play with caution. All right, so Grand Buddha Lake. So this game is pretty interesting. I mean, the graphics are kind of crappy. I don't find that the wins are spectacular, but you do get a lot of paybacks as you're playing. The interesting mechanic about this is if you get a line hit with one of the symbols, it ends up generating a multiplier, and the multiplier goes down every spin. So if you start with the Buddhas, you will start with 8 times your win, and then every time you spin, it goes down by 1 until it disappears. So if you get a line hit with those symbols while you're playing, that's the multiplication of that line hit. So it seems like you're going to get all these great line hits. For me, anyway, it didn't really end up being that way, but I did keep going and I did get some returns through just spins. The bonus is pretty standard. It's the mini, the minor, the major, the grand. I would play if the casino is busy, but other than that, I mean, I wouldn't really play just because it's kind of boring. Leprechaun's Blessing. I've never played this game before. It is like all of your standard 3-pot games. There's a big pot in the middle that you can trigger, where you can trigger multiple bonus games, extra spins, double games, or lucky kicker, or you can just trigger one of those individually, and they're basically what they say they are. Extra spins is you just get more spins. Double games, you get 2 sets of reels. Lucky kicker just adds an extra symbol as you're playing the bonus, which can multiply your wins. 75-cent bet, not too bad. I didn't play this one a ton. That's probably why I've got it in the play with caution, because I haven't played enough to really say too much about what it's about. I didn't find like the line hits in the game were that great, and I did hit the bonus twice on this, did fairly well. Overall, I didn't lose too much on this game, so that's why it is in a play with caution category. Ultimate X. So I do highly recommend you play video poker games, especially if you're not doing that well. You can play for a long time. If you know how to play poker, you can save your money and just slow your bankroll. The 2 things you need to know, obviously, when you're playing video poker, number 1, it's double the amount of coin in order to get a point. So with Carnival, it's $2 to earn a point. So with video poker, it's going to be $4 to earn a point. Also, because the house advantage is less on these games, the calculation for your average daily theoretical isn't quite as good playing these games. So if you're trying to be like me and get marketing offers, you're going to have to play even longer in order to get the kind of the same value from your ADT. But the good news is that you can play quite a bit longer playing video poker and not lose quite as much. I played Ultimate X a bit. It's in play with caution simply because it's a bit of a gimmick. The bet is higher. Basically, the idea is if you get a winning hand on any of your hands, 3-hand minimum, 5 or 10 hands you can play, it will give you a multiplier in case you can win the next hand on that hand. So some of them can be pretty big. Some of them go up to like 40. So if you hit like a good hand, like a flush or something, or a full house, you could get a really good payout. And I did have some really good payouts. The problem is that it does tend to drain your money a bit quicker because you're paying more into this feature. So I would more likely just want to play the base 3-hand jacks or better, or even deuces wild if you're playing video poker. But this X game is kind of fun. So I play it a bit if I was you. Dragon Rush. So the reason this one's in play with caution is because I only played it once. I didn't really find it too fun, but I did trigger the bonus, and I've only played it a little bit, so I didn't want to say don't play it without more experience. I will say not a lot of really great line hits for me. The bonus was actually pretty decent, and the bet level is low. It's 60 cents. So, maybe give this one a try. But I would play it with caution just to see how it behaves. Make sure you're getting those line hits so that it's not totally draining your bankroll. And finally, Boo Bucks. So this one's very appropriate right now since, Halloween is coming. It's got the pumpkins get bigger, the pumpkins pop, and then you get the bonus game. The things I don't like about this game is not a lot of great line hits, and also those pumpkins can take a very long time to trigger. So it's not a bad game to play. I would more play this game if the casino was busy and one was open and the pumpkins were big, but I wouldn't sit at it for a super long time because, like I said, those jack-o'-lanterns can get pretty big and then just sit there for a long time. So you could end up draining your bankroll. Another thing I do like about this game is it's got a 50-cent min bet. So, you can play quite a bit longer without draining your bankroll quite so quickly. All right, now on to the games I recommend you do not play. And what a surprise. One of those games is Huff and Even More Puff. Now, if you watch this series of videos, I always say don't play Huff and Even More Puff. Don't play the construction Huff and Puff. Don't play Huff and More Puff. Maybe play Huff and Puff. It's got the best return to player. It's got the least volatility. It's got the best pay lines, but it's still Huff and Puff. A lot of this just has to do with the fact that I've never had luck on this game, and it really annoys me because I do really like the gameplay. I enjoy it a lot, and I do play it from time to time, especially if I'm up in the casino. But this thing is just a wizard at draining your bankroll, especially this one, which is $1 a spin, a lot of dead spins, and line hits unless you get something really good, like, a bunch of business pigs or something like that. The pay lines are just really not good at all. Now, of course, if you can hit the bonus, that's where you're getting your money back in Huff and Puff. You can get some really good bonuses. You get the mansion bonus. That's a really great one to hit. So, if you do have a little bit extra money, play it, but I do recommend you don't play it if you're trying to stretch your bankroll and earn comps through marketing offers. Captain Riches. I've never understood this game. I've never understood it. So I get there's a tower, they get activated, some of them are locked, but I have never seen any of these chests up top trigger. I'm not even sure how they trigger. I've never seen anyone else trigger them. I feel like they're impossible to get, and I don't understand. Do you have to unlock all of them to trigger one? I don't really know. If you know, please tell me in the comments. I'd sure love to know. The one thing I do know about this game is that it's got 3 coin slots on the 3 middle reels. Once you fill up those coin slots, they will generate wilds for the next 3 spins. And sometimes they can be wilds times 3 and all that stuff. What I find though is that those wilds hardly coincide with a line hit. I think it's a gimmick. It doesn't really feel like it's doing anything for me. I have had a couple good line hits on this game, but overall, it's just really mid for me. I hate just waiting forever for a bonus and not knowing if you're ever going to trigger it. So for that reason, I do recommend you avoid this slot. Black Widow. So this game, there's no line hits. The potion pot gets full rather quickly and then it never triggers. I did end up hitting the bonus on this game. And actually the bonus was kind of fun. It's got this series of unlocks. It's a hold-in spin and It also has a boost feature where you can boost the amount you've won. So the more orbs you get on your lines, the more lines you unlock and make the tower bigger and bigger and bigger. And I actually think I had a fairly good return on the bonus. The problem is that I played quite a bit throughout my gaming sessions, and I only triggered it once. It was kind of frustrating. Now, this one could be anecdotal, right? Because I haven't played a whole bunch of this game. I actually haven't played it before this sailing. So if you have different opinions about this Black Widow game, please let me know. I don't recommend you play it just through my experience, but I will admit, if I see it again, I'll probably sit down and play it a little bit just to see if I can learn a little bit more about it. Double Blazing Lock. This is a game I really wanted to like. You know, Blazing Lock, Shark Lock, Devil Lock, all the same game, all by Blueberry. This one kind of adds a little bit more. You've got 3 pots instead of 2. You've got your jackpot spins, extra flamey where it adds more wins. I think it doubles your wins. And then Royal Replace, where it's actually replacing values on your reels in the bonus with coin values or maybe even jackpot values. The one thing about this game, though, is this game is famous for teasing. Even in the base games, the Shark Lock, the Devil's Lock, and the Flame Lock, they often, make it look like you're going to win something and then it doesn't. I do like the Luck Has Arrived features on this game. And I did have a bonus that was pretty good, but I also played a long time before I triggered that bonus. So for that reason, I do recommend you avoid this game. All right, and the last one is Double Chili Mania Respin. Now, this is one I should be recommending that you play because 3 reels are famously less volatile than your regular new style slot machines. However, I found with this game, you want to max bet because you want to get the maximum of all your jackpots that you can win. And I don't like these games to begin with. I don't like games where you have to max bet to win things. I like games where you can min bet and still be eligible to win all the jackpots. So it was $1.80 per spin, which means if you go through a little bit of a cold spell, before you know it, you're down $60. That's the problem I have with this game. And that's the reason I recommend you don't play it. So there you go. Those are the slots I recommend you play with caution, and avoid if you're planning on cruising on Carnival Firenze, or if you see them on your next cruise, wherever it may take you and whatever line you might be on. What do you think? Do you agree with my choices? Do you think I'm crazy? Do some of the games I said you shouldn't play, you've had great luck on? Or if games that I've said you should play, you just don't ever have luck on? Let me know in the comments. You might remember that a few months ago I was on Grandeur and I started my Grandeur series, and I did promise you a video for the slots I recommend you play and avoid on Grandeur, since even though it was my 3rd time on Grandeur, there was a lot of new slots. So I wanted to do a fresh video. And then I got that Star of the Seas sailing last minute, which messed everything up. Well, I'm going to go back to that Grandeur series really quickly and do the slots that you should play and avoid on Grandeur to stretch your bankroll and earn more marketing comps. If you want to know when that video comes out, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And if you found this video helpful or enjoyable, please consider giving me a like. I really appreciate it. And of course, thank you for watching.